Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another episode of Jordan Card Collecting with Zach. This is episode number 9. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Itinerary. What are we going to talk about today? Zach, I have pulled up on Card Ladder the Michael Jordan Index. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the Michael Jordan Index, what it looked like over the last 6 months, 3 months, and then 1 month. I think you guys may be surprised. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to look at some of those constituent cards inside that index. We'll flip through some PSA 8s, look at some of the best performing, some of the worst performing. And then we're going to talk specifically about the one card Zach picked up. Since we filmed episode number 8, Zach has picked up one card, and it was actually a little deal where it was a trade. So we'll talk through some of the details of that and how that was. Nothing crazy, nothing sexy, just a nice little pickup, getting out of a card that Zach didn't want, getting into a card that Zach did want, and then kind of talk about how much we think the card's worth, because this is a card. The card's not rare, but the card in BGS 9.5 is pretty damn rare, and it has only sold 3 times in the last 12 years. So good luck, Zach, trying to figure out what the card's really worth. We've got a couple of data points. We'll kind of talk through how I feel about using very few data points to come up with a value of a card. It's not a perfect science. And what else? That's it. That's what we got. So we're going to have plenty of time to talk about the index. Let's start. I'm going to just flip the script on you, Zach. I know we said we were going to talk about index first. Let's talk about your deal first. Tell everybody what you had, how you got it, what we got into. It's a card that we've talked about on the channel before, and it's one of those I told you so moments that I'm so proud of, right? So talk us through that deal, what you got out of, what you got into, and I'm going to screen share with Zach's screen. So this is Zach's PWCC vault.
Yeah, so I've mentioned it before. I was going to do a little test. Bought this raw Metal Universe base card. Sent it to PWCC to have it graded through Beckett through them.
Yeah.
And it just came back about a week ago. And it got an 8.5. I was pretty disappointed because all the other subgrades were 9.5. If those corners had just been a little bit better.
Damn.
Yeah. But so anyway, the estimate on this card was about 130. So I ended up moving this card plus an extra $60 to total about I was in the card 160, but the total worth is probably about 190. For the BGS 9.5 Firm Foundations.
Do you have a picture of that yet, or you want me to screen share that?
This is it. This is the card.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm pretty sure this is my actual card. I think I uploaded the picture.
Okay.
Pop 6. That's
why you don't see that. That's why it was so tough to figure out what to, you in the real estate world, we call, like, when you do a trade or an exchange of properties and then you put some cash on top of it, we call that boot, right? And it's ironic because I live in Louisiana, which is called the boot. But that's what that additional cash to make an even trade is called, is boot. And so you put in $60 boot to make this in the eyes of the two parties that were contracting an even, equivalent, fair arm's length transaction. Right. Figuring out what that firm foundation's worth. I'm going to go back to screen share on my screen. I've got it pulled up here. Also, remind me to go back to talk about that Metal Universe in just a second. There's something I wanted to kind of talk about as far as those subgrades go. Okay. So here's what we got. This is my screen share now. I've got it pulled up in Card Ladder. You get 5 sales ever going all the way back to 2006, right? That's 17 years ago, Zach. Yeah. A little over 17 years ago, actually, because that was February 28th and we're March 15th. So a little over 17 years ago, the damn BGS 9.5 sold 5 times. And you can ignore completely 3 of them because it was 12 years ago most recently. So we're going to ignore those. That gives us 2 to work with. And they are very disparate. Those prices are very different, despite the fact that they weren't that far apart. They were both last year. One of them was a best offer, and one of them was an auction. Zach, if I had to quiz you and viewers, think about this question. Which of a best offer and or an auction is a better indication of the true fair market value of a card? What would your answer be?
100% auction.
100%. I agree. I think 100%. It's 101%. There is no question that an auction is – I lost you, by the way, on the video feed. You're not moving. Yeah. Oh, there you're moving again. You're moving again.
Okay. I
Okay,
must
yeah.
have been lagging.
Yeah, you're lagging. So it's definitely an auction, right? An auction is a better indicator because that is, it's a card that's put on the block, and you've got hundreds, hopefully hundreds, probably thousands of eyeballs on a card like the one we're talking about here, this Firm Foundation. And so I think the auction's a better indicator of price. Again, this was an auction that was half a year ago, however, and so you've got to do some finagling. Are we in a better place? Are we in a worse place? Is it a deal where you're willing to pay a little bit extra because it's so damn hard to get? It's a pop 6. And this BGS 9.5, that's for those of you who haven't watched the first 7 or 8 episodes, that's Zach's chosen path, right? He's chosen to collect in BGS 9.5. So for him to get a Firm Foundation, if he didn't pick this one up in trade, he may not see one for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. I don't know. I mean, look, it sold 5 times in 17 years. And so it might be worth you overpaying slightly. Now, that being said, I think you're in the neighborhood, right?
Right.
The 237, while it is impressive and it makes you think the card's 237, it was the best offer. So that might have been another Zach who just said, you know what, I need the card 9.5. I haven't seen one since February of 2021, and it's a decade before that where I saw the last one. I better just grab it, right? And so somebody paid 237. The 120 is probably a better indication, but that sounds pretty cheap to me. For this card personally, you know what, Zach? I want to look at what a PSA 10 sells for. Let's see what a PSA 10 sells for, Zach. Just sold 400, dude. 400, right? I lost you again. You disappeared. Now you're totally gone. So this $400 sale. All right, you're back again. The $400 was the most recent PSA 10 Firm Foundation sale, and that was 14 days ago. So I like that, and I would rather use that recent 2 weeks ago PSA 10 comp to work backwards into what a BGS 9.5 is worth than use the last true BGS 9.5 comp from August of last year. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? What's more reliable? I think 14 days ago, PSA 10 is more reliable.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is what I base it off of. I think, I don't want to say the going rate on the comparison between a 9.5 and a 10 is like 40-ish%. But I think that's kind of where I was at. And I'm pretty sure I used this card or this sale as a reference for pricing my 9.5.
So if you look at it that way, what'd you give up? Like 190, is that what we said? 190 about value?
Yeah.
But you were into it for 160 or something?
Right.
You won buying raw, grading with BGS, getting an 8.5. You won that.
Yeah, I would have profited about $30-$40 off of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's good. That's encouraging. So you use that equity to, in trade, and then threw in an extra 60 and moved into the Firm Foundation. I like it, man. I like that a lot. Go back to your vault, and I'm going to switch back over to yours, Zach. Go pull up. Ooh, Twilight Zone. There you go. Zoom in on those subgrades for me. For those of you who don't know, this gets a little tricky. I'm not going to explain the whole deal. I did a whole video on it explaining how BGS subgrades work. I did screen share. We went to Beckett's website. But the way this particular grade works, you're looking at this grade and you're like 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, 8. Well, that should be a 9 because if you add them all up, divide by 4, it's like a 9. But it doesn't work that way. When corners are your lowest subgrade, you can only bump it 0.5. But there's a bunch of weird, interesting little intricacies and rules. Go if you want to do some diligent research and you've just started watching my channel. I've got a video called "Not All BGS 9.5s Are the Same," where I kind of talk about subgrades, how the subgrades contribute to an overall grade, and there's a couple of hard and fast rules that Beckett has. And it's my understanding there are some ways where, Zach, your lowest grade could be an 8 and you could get a 9. But this is not one of those exceptions, those caveats. So that's why Zach was pissed off, because he was like 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. If that had been a 9, he would have got a 9.5, right? So you were right there. But, somebody pissed in this grader's, cereal that morning, and he's like, you know what, Zach?
No, I mean, the corners they are pretty.
Yeah, they're white. The bottom left one's white, I can tell. Let me see the top one. Top right, white. I can see a bit. Yeah, and again, to be fair, the back is really where usually you can tell, but your back looks pretty good. Those look pretty good.
Which begs the question. I'm sure the guy that I traded this to probably is going to crack it and resubmit it to PSA, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I would.
He probably needs to reimburse you if he gets a 9.5. He probably will.
No, to go to PSA, right? I mean, get a 9, PSA 9.
Yeah, PSA 9, PSA
Yeah.
9, PSA 10. Yeah. I like that, man. Well, here's the deal. Like in the long run, you have a card that you don't want because you don't collect 8.5s. You took a swing. You didn't get a home run, but you hit a single because you got a little bit of the equity back because the 8.5 is worth more than your grading cost plus the raw. And then you've turned that money and can transition that money in 60 to boot to get into a card you did want. It's a pop 6 that we may not see till 2030, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it's a win, man. I like it. And that's the only deal you had. So you're gonna have to start buying more cards.
Yeah. I've become more selective than I was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I found out it definitely, you kind of like, it's like wine tasting, I guess. You kind of taste a bunch, find the one you like, and then you just buy those, right? I mean, that's what it's come to.
Well, I like subset cards like that they're not true base cards. They're subset cards. They're not true inserts. They're not true base. They're not parallels, but they're subset cards. I just hit remove. Okay, there. I like these types of cards. The price point is what I'm saying. I really like the price point on those types of cards. Anyway, let's look at the Jordan Index. Let's just chat about it, man. We can literally talk for 5 hours on this, but I've got what's that up there for? Go back, get out of here, dummy. Back.
I think I did the same thing.
I did something stupid. Hang on.
So did I. I think.
Are you up? You got me up here. Let me just do it this way. Let me just show you how to get to it. If you've got Card Ladder and you're a Card Ladder Pro member, you go over here on the left, you hit this index button, boom, right there. It looks like a chart, a graph, and then you're going to go to, you can look at basketball in general. Where is basketball, by the way? Here it is, minus 3% over the last 1 month. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. What about over 3 months? It's going to be worse. Yeah, minus 22%. So what does that say? If it was minus 22% over the last 3 months and it's minus 3% over the last 1 month, and you got to remember, this is including Bobo-based Prisms. This is including Zions. This is including John Morant's. Who knows what the hell those cards are doing right now? They are probably nosediving, if I had to guess. It looks to me like the downward trend is flattening, and that should not surprise anybody. If I switch from 1 month to 1 year, everything that's single digits is going to magically become double digits. See, that's basically an indication that we are seeing at least an approach to the bottom. We may not have hit the absolute actual bottom. Well, we may not have. I don't know. It depends on what types of cards within basketball you collect, or within soccer, or within Culture 51, wherever the hell that is. But you can also go look at individual players, and that's what I really like to do. So we're going to type in Michael Jordan, and we're going to pull him up. There's Jordan over the last year. Terrible, right? Over the last year, down 27%. Over the last 6 months, down 19% right there. Okay, so it's starting to slow. Over the last 3 months, down 4%. So nearing flattening. We can see it, obviously, even with the graph. And then look at this, Zach. This is what I wanted to show you. The first bit of that there's some light, that there may be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or the opposite of a rainbow. This is a valley that we're in. Plus 1.2% over the last month. So I think that's a good sign, right?
I'll take it.
I have had more fun in the hobby doing content on this channel talking about Jordans in the last year. This has probably been the most fun I've had in the hobby this past year, chatting with you and some other guys and just doing these solo videos talking about Jordan stuff. And that's been in the middle of a bloodbath, right? So I'm thinking to myself, God, man, if Fanatics could get in here, right the ship, and we could get some stabilization to the economy. We can get people's 401ks back where they belong. Bitcoin can go back where the young people want it. The common stock and the stock market can get back where it belongs, and then cards can stabilize and start to steadily rise again, like they have for the past 100 years or whatever. Think how much fun it'll be to talk about cards then. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right now, we're talking about the cards that have suffered the least, and that's like exciting. Let's talk about the cards that actually perform and see some green on here. Not because we want to flip them all and get rich, but like wouldn't it be nice to talk about the stuff that we love to look at and say how much more it's worth now than when we bought it? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's Jordan over the last month. But this is what's even more cool about these indexes is so I'm in the card ladder, Michael Jordan index. Now I want to look at individual cards. It's going to pull up every single card that's in the index, right? But what I can do over here is, well, first I want to plug in. Let's just do PSA 8 first, right? I'm picking a random. Let's do yours. Let's do your BGS. Oops, that's weird. I hit some button on accident, and I don't even know what I did to cause that. Let's go to BGS 9.5. Let's go to your stuff, right? Stuff that matters to you. And now I've got sorted by the best performing BGS 9.5 cards over the last 3 months. We can look at it over the last, 1 month. We can look at it by value, just the most expensive BGS 9.5s. There's a $500,000 star card. There's the PMG red that I love, right? We've got emblems of endorsement. So you can go that way. But like what I'm looking at is I want to look at, realistic cards. There's also this, which says undervalued. I don't really understand that. So we're not going to screw with that. I got to do some more research on that. But where are we? Let's look at over the last, let's look at the last 3 months, because 1 month is just not enough time frame for BGS 9.5 sales to hit. And so what I can do is, this is a realistic card. There should be a lot of those. Nope, maybe not. That's not. Oh, that's 1 month. Yeah, let me go to 3. Okay, so there you go. It's sold twice. That's not really enough. I don't like that. I like to see more data points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Topps Gold label, maybe. Let's see. Nope, that's only 2. Power and the Key. That's not going to be very many. We know that. No. You know what? Let's get out of your dumb 9.5s. You've chosen a grade that's impossible to find. Let's go here. Let's go PSA 8, Zach. Okay? Let's skip straight to nuts and bolts. I know there's going to be buku sales of a 1995 nuts and bolts 95 metal. So boom, there you go. Okay, so now we got it, right? And so this is what here's the card, by the way. There's the card. Everybody's seen that card. It's a subset card. It's called nuts and bolts because if you kind of zoom in down there in the bottom right, you can see it. But it's card number 212 from the 1995 metal set. But look at this. It's volatile for sure, but that's clearly an upward trend. That's great to see. Over the last 3 months, up 173%. Somebody pick one of these dogs up for $9.50. The last one sold for $26. So that's a pretty good feeling. Let's pick up some more that are a little more common. Behind the Glass is a great one. Clearly, right, this is a huge card in PSA 10. Huge. If we look at the pop report, you'll see, wow, there you go. There's 18 of them in the world. There's 221 eighths. It's not even been graded 1,000 times by the 2 big grading companies. So, by the way, when it's time to pick up the 9.5, that's a 4-figure card. So that's a big one that you need to put on your radar. That's
a huge difference, though.
What's that?
Not a big difference in pop. You saw that?
Not a big difference in pop, dude. There's not a lot of BGS out there.
13,000?
Yeah, but look at this graph. This is a great looking graph, right? I mean, this card was $50, 42, even 74. It's gotten all the way up to 125. That's a big difference, man. If you're just trying to grow your collection and $70 difference from in 90 days is a big deal, man. So and it makes you feel good if you picked it up maybe 90 days ago. Fleer All-Stars, here's another one. Plenty of price points for this. I don't know about this. Either way, let's throw this last one out. It was on February 21st. It jumped from 59 to 100. But even if we throw that one out, this is not a low pop card. There's a million of these, right? 900 graded by PSA, 1,300 total graded. But even if we throw out this $100, it's gone from, around 40 to around 60, 78, 67, so that one's up. Again, these are baby cards. These are the kind of cards that I've been adding, to my collection. This one's a little bit higher, actually. Yeah. 80, 170. Have you ever seen this card, Zach? The hobby standouts hobby?
I don't think so.
It's a pretty cool card, man. It's a pretty cool card. It's kind of gold medallion-ish feeling.
I was gonna ask, yeah.
Yeah, it's got some gold foil on it. Skybox Premium's a high-end product. It's an early Skybox Premium, 95. Not the earliest, but early. This Topps Gold. Ooh, I like this because I just picked this up. I might be the reason. Well, I didn't pay that. I know I didn't. Wait. Damn, that's cheap. PSA 8 Topps Gold. Card number 141 is only $25. God, dog. Somebody bought one for 12. Somebody bought one for 10. Jeez, that's a cheap card. I like those Topps Gold cards. Here's a base card that looks good. This looks like an insert to me. Every time I see it, I'm like, damn, that's a good-looking card, man.
Yeah.
That's the 96 EX 2000. A lot of great inserts from that set as well. But that's just the base. It's just a really good-looking card. Oftentimes, that card at the top here is diamond cut. You know what diamond cut is?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Where like that window pane's kind of tilted off. And like this window pane, you can even see it's supposed to be uh, like you see the whites of the window pane.
Yeah,
Like it's supposed to be the same width and thickness, top left, bottom right. And this one's
gotcha.
clearly thinner over here than it is, over on this side.
Right.
But that's another cool card, that's going up. But that's how you can sort, in the card ladder index. But it's good to see the index is going up 1%. Some of these cards are doubling. Like every card we've looked at has doubled, over the last 90 days. And we can do the same thing, Zach, with PSA 10s, man. And I wonder what some of these base PSA 10s are doing. Look at the Dunkin' Go Nuts. Damn. 7,000 all the way to 14,000. Seems very suspicious. Let's go to 1 year. Yeah, I'm going to throw that one out. I'm not going to believe that. We're going to throw that one out, Zach. That doesn't seem to add up. How about this guy? Why is this guy going back up? Over the last year, it's down. No, over the last year, it's up. Look at this, Zach. Wait, let me go to 3 months. Over the last 3 months, it's up 84%. This is a card that went nuts, and then people realized they had it in their parents', closet at their parents' house that they had when they were growing up. So they all sent them in. The pop went bananas. As you can see, there's 20,000 graded, but the gem rate is 5%. So there's not very many 10s and 9.5. And the price went way up because everybody wanted it during the last dance and the COVID era. Mm-hmm. And then it went way down when everybody realized there's billions of them. And now it's actually going up again. I never would have guessed this, just randomly looking at this. What year were you born?
97.
Holy shit, Zach. You're young. I remember chasing that card in 1989 Fleer, man. I remember that.
Get the beam team.
There's some beautiful. That's a beam team members only. Yep. I still need that card in PSA 10. I've got the regular beam team, but I need the PSA 10. And I was a bidder on this one, Zach. See where it's 9,000. Right. That was a PWCC sale, if I'm not mistaken. Let me hit it. Yeah, so 9,000 on PWCC. I think I was around 7,000, which I was like, well, I'm going to get it. I just bid 1,300 over the last comp, as you can see below it. I was like, I'm going to get it. I lost it, but I didn't realize there was a one on eBay at the exact same time that ended the next day, and it only went for 6,900. So I felt like an idiot. So I'm supposed to know all this shit about Jordan cards, but there's so many auction platforms, Zach. I can't keep up with it, man.
Right.
Like there could be one on Slab Stocks or whatever it's called. What's it called? My Slabs.
Yeah.
Or something right now for 7,000. I wouldn't even know it. There's just too many places to go find cards.
I agree.
It sounds like that's not going to slow down, man. But that's it. Just wanted to show you guys the how the card ladder index works. Sometimes it's fun to go in there, and I did a video on it. Zach, I like to use the index to find the cards that have gone down the most in the last 3 months that I don't have that I want in my collection. Because from my perspective, those are the best buys, right? Cards that have gone down the most in the last 90 days. Well, I'm going to buy low and sell high, or buy low and not sell. So I use the index to find the right time to buy the cards that I still need sometimes, and just sort it negatively, sort it backwards, and go that route.
Right.
Tell me, you had a couple of questions that you wanted to chat about. Talk to me. What do you got?
I did. So the mint is coming up, even though you're not going to be here. And it's about that time where I probably need to go ahead and, if I wanted to bring something with me in there, I should ship it to myself from PWCC. So I was going to ask you, which ones should I leave? Which ones should I bring? Does it matter? Should I bring 0? What do you think? And I have them pulled up if you want to share my screen, and I can show you the cards that are able to be shipped.
Yeah. By the way, did I forget to screen share the whole time I was talking about cards?
No. You were good.
Okay, I was good. Okay, I'm bad at that. So that's the only flaw I have. We know that's not true. Well, why are you bringing them? Oh, because the PSA 10 Soaring Stars. Well, we're doing a deal for that.
Yeah, we're doing a deal for this. This is off limits.
Well, why would you bring all those cards to the mint if they're yours and they're in your collection? You're not looking to move them.
I'm not looking to move them, but maybe I'll, put this nuts and bolts, which you were just talking about, together with something else and get a bigger card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I should keep that one because it's a Gem Plus. Maybe. But,
yeah,
like the Showstoppers. I mean, I'm not like these are cool cards, but I would much prefer if there was another 9.5 that popped its head up um, to make a move to get into that.
Your collection's growing, man, Zach. You got a lot of 9.5s, man.
Yeah, we're doing some
It's
work on
funny.
this.
It's like when we first started this, you didn't have that many. That's a lot of cards.
Yeah, I think I have 25 in the vault and like 28 total. The 3 that are just
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I
Yeah.
like that gold label right there too. There's a gold label, black label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I
That's
mean, what
cool.
would you bring with you to it? Would you bring any Jordans with you to a card show?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't sell Jordans unless they're duplicates. Because I'm trying to build an army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know most people are like you. Most people are not like me. Like they'll gladly take 3 Jordans from their collection, put them together in a trade and trade up for a bigger Jordan.
Right. You
But
don't do
I
that?
don't like. I want those 3 and the one I would trade up for. So I just spend money to do it, or I wait until I have the money to do it. I'll sell other stuff. You know what I mean? I build
Right.
funds other ways. And like right now, I'm doing it on a crazy large scale, selling a bunch of LeBrons, a bunch of De'Aaron Foxes, a bunch of Jaylen Browns, a bunch of just liquidating a bunch of slabs that
Right.
I kind of reconsidered where I was in my collecting path and my collecting journey. And I was like, I don't love these cards, but I do love some Jordans that I don't have in my collection. So
Right.
that's how I'm pooling funds. So I'm not the person to ask about that. Like, if you want my opinion, I would say don't take any of that out of the vault. I would not bring any of that to
Okay.
I'd go
Okay.
Uber drive for 2 days and use that money to go buy the Jordan or
Okay.
DoorDash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just me, man. That's just me.
We gotta talk about this because this was I
Okay.
missed out on this auction. I was busy. I was doing something. I really should have picked this card up. Like I was very devastated that I didn't bid 180. Like screw it. I would have happily picked up this card because I'm losing my PSA 10, need the 9.5. So I went and found
171.
yeah.
That would have been oof, you missed that one.
No, I know. I don't
Zach.
you don't have to tell me, dude. I'm you
Look
want
at
to know
this.
what's more upsetting?
Ooh.
Wait, what are you on your screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
there
Look
it
up the
is.
look up the star power base because I missed that. It was closed with like with an hour within each other. Um, and man, I was super upset. I didn't. I mean, less than 150, Brian, and I missed it.
147. Damn, man.
Yeah.
That's not
So
supposed to happen in a market where Jordan cards are up in the last month. Yeah,
right.
that would have been a really nice pickup too.
Yeah, I missed both of those, and I was super on myself. So if you want to share my screen, so there was 2 more soaring stars that were up for sale, and both of them were buy it now. One was 500, which isn't reasonable at all compared to the last sale, and the other one was 700. But I messaged this guy, said, "Hey man, this was like an hour after the auction closed. Can I pay 200 right now? I need the card. I'm ready to buy." And he responds with, "Sorry, 200 just won't come close for me. Auction comps have so many variables. I stick closer to actual price slash or best offers sold comps." And then, like you
So
just
that's
said,
like the opposite of logic,
yeah,
right? Like
like
I don't want to use the auction price where it's an open market and let the hobby determine what the card's worth. That
right,
makes no sense. I just want what one individual desperate person was willing to buy something for best offer. That's the
right,
dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like everything he put in his explanation is opposite worlds.
right. At that point, when you have to say that, the card is not for sale, right? I mean,
Just take it off. Yeah,
yeah,
you should
it's
say you
not a
should take it off eBay.
yeah,
Yeah,
like just take it off because
just
it's
take it
not
off.
for sale. But anyway, I
Not
had to
even
rant about
close.
that.
30 over comps is not even close. So just take it
Right,
off. Right.
right. But whatever.
Damn.
I had to get that off my chest, man. I was super upset about that.
Well, that's a miss for you, and I had a miss too. Like I missed that Beam Team members only, man.
Yeah.
Big card. God dang, I would have liked to have picked that card up for 6,900. That'd have been a real. Here's why. That would have put it to bed. I would have the PSA 8 and PSA 10 Beam Team base, and I would have the PSA 8 and PSA 10 Beam Team members only, and that would have put that whole situation to bed. That's a complete set, and I'm done for
Damn.
good. With that 92 Beam Team.
Yeah.
These Beam Teams are going to be the death of me, dude. I mean,
Are
yeah, well, it's my
they that
fault.
hard to find?
No, but I mean, like, it's
just
a shitload of money. Like, I'm collecting it
right.
in 8 and 10, and then you got a members only parallel in 8 and 10. So really, it's 12 beam teams, right? Because
Is
there's
it
3 years beam teams: 92, 93, 95. Shit's expensive in PSA 10, and I got to get 6 PSA 10s and 6 PSA 8s, and it adds up. That's a damn lot of money, man.
does it make it
Uh,
harder knowing what you're saving for?
what?
Does it make it harder knowing what
Yeah,
you need to be saving for?
yeah. And I'm about to. I feel like I'm about to detour. You know me, like I like quantity. I do like quality, but like, I think about how much it would cost to pick up the Mega Grail, and I'm like, God, I could get a lot of really grails. Like I could
Right,
get
right,
6 other really big cards. Like, oh my gosh, eye popping cards instead of one.
right.
Um, it's
Yeah,
hard to stay the course. You're right. Yeah, it's hard to stay the course. But I'm
yeah.
building funds. And all those cards I'm selling on Probstein, he staggered it at my request, and so I'm getting a sales sheet like every day now. So I've gotten sales sheets for like 5. What they do is they send you an email. Here's what sold last night. Here's what it sold for. Here's the title. Here's what your net is from those sales, and
Right.
then they'll send me wires each day for a portion of that, because they got to wait to see if anybody returns, you know what I'm saying? Like, or
Right.
doesn't pay, non-paying bidders. Sorry. And so I've got a spreadsheet here where every time I get a sales report, I know I sent them 150 cards in this last batch. And so, man, I should have put this because this has been really good to look at. So every time I get a sales report, I write down how many cards of my 150 sold, how many have yet to sell, how much they sold for, and how much I'm owed. And then if I get a wire, they'll send me an email saying, hey, we just wired you this much. Then I net it out of that, and then I have a new balance of how much Probstein owes me. And then I just rinse, repeat every day. So I'm keeping a running balance of how much I've sold and how much they owe me, and then how many of my cards are left to sell. And so we're nearing the finish line. I think I've 42 cards left to sell out of 150. And I've got maybe 5 wires. So I'm building up funds. But I just sold, and I just put this in the PWCC Weekly recap that I do on Mondays. I just sold my BGS 9.5 rookie, Jordan rookie. And I didn't do great. I mean, I did 32 or something like that. I can't remember. 30 something in here. Let me pull it up. Pull it up.
Wasn't gonna hold that one for me.
Sorry, I can't hold that one for you. You better start flying planes for Joe Biden if you want to pay for that one. Yeah. So, and this is going to look horrible. Okay. Look, so let me just preface this. It's not as bad as it looks, and I'll explain. Okay. So this is mine down here. This is the last one, but it was a Gem Plus Plus, right? And so that's a whole different animal. Like, the subgrades matter more on this damn 57, number 57, 86 Fleer Jordan than any card on the universe. Like, so a Gem Plus is literally double the value of a minimum gem. Mine was a minimum gem. Now, I paid a lot more than $32,000 for the card and got crushed, so it is what it is. But yeah, this one was crazy. It was Gem Plus Plus, and this one was a Gem Plus. This was the last minimum gem. So mine sold for a lot less than that one, but that one was a lot higher than this one. So mine really sold for what all of these sold for, you know? So this was just a weird little spike because these two were exceptional cards. And, for whatever reason. So mine sold for 32.4. Before that, it was 33, 38, 31 with a sticker, like with a PWCC eye appeal sticker. 34, 32, 30, 29, 25. So I didn't time it at the worst point. And I probably should have just chilled and held, but like, I'm taking that money and putting it right back into Jordan. In fact, I was negotiating for for this card. I won't tell anybody who has it, but this is a big one. Sorry. If they have a PSA 8 in here. Of course they don't. Why would you have a PSA 8? So we'll pull this one up. I was negotiating for this card and a PSA 8, I should say. Yeah. So this is the Playmakers Theater. This is a big-time card. So it's a very rare card. Serial number to 100. Pretty special, pretty iconic Jordan insert card from 1998 Fleer Tradition. Just an intricate, ornate, neat little card that is highly, highly, highly sought after. So this card would be worth about what the same as that 86 Fleer BGS 9.5 that I sold. This card in PSA 8 is a very low pop, right? You can see there's only 62 ever been graded. Some of those are crack and resubs. There's only 100 of them in the world. Whereas, going back to the 86 Fleer, there's 535 of those.
Right.
So just different. It's just different. Both cards have super meaning, but I have a PSA 10 86 Fleer. I don't need a 9.5. I bought it as an investment, and it was a disaster. So I'm going to take my losses, which I hate doing. I don't like losing, but I'm going to take my losses and just flip that money right into a Playmakers Theater. I'm waiting to hear back from the guy. I thought we had a deal done, but he wanted a couple more days to think about it. I'm sure he's shopping it to see if anybody will pay a little bit more, but I need to touch base on that. So I'm glad I remembered. I'm going to touch base on that. Right. You know what? You do it right now.
Do it right now.
Watch this. So I'm going to reach out to my broker at PWCC. Hey, I probably need to get an answer on that Playmakers Theater PSA 8 when you get a chance, or I'm just going to move on to the next card. Thanks, buddy. You think buddy sounds like negative? Hey, buddy.
No.
It could.
It could be a little demeaning. Right.
Yeah, like if you're petting a dog, hey, little buddy, that's okay. Yeah. But it's like, hey, you're in my chair, buddy. That sounds terrible.
Like if the Grizzlies have to pay the Mavericks and Dylan Brooks is guarding Luka, hey, little buddy.
Hey, move aside, buddy. That sounds rude. That's weird.
Do you have any Dylan Brooks rookie cards?
More than you can know. None. Zero. Never. In fact, I like to rip wax from his rookie season, pull his cards, and then burn them. That would be, oh my God, I just thought a way to go viral.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yes. Zach, we just came up with something. We came up with something special. We pull Pat Beverly cards. We pull Dylan Brooks cards. We pull Will Barton cards, and we just burn them when we pull them out of the pack. That would be viral social media content, would it not?
It really would. Who
else would be on your list? Who's your least liked players in the NBA?
Dylan Brooks is moving his way up there. He's getting there.
It's not an accident. He's trying to be less liked.
Right. Even though, did you see the news that came out that said he had a report in college, an interview, and he said, "I just want to be the Draymond Green to this team."
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna come back to haunt him.
Oh yeah, but I'm not a big fan of Jay Crowder.
Is it because Jay Crowder thinks he's Dwayne Wade?
Yeah, anybody whose basketball IQ is super low and they think they're way better than they are, make their way up my list extremely fast.
Well, look, here's the deal. Dylan Brooks' IQ is as low as it gets as far as knowing his role. Right. I think that's what you mean. Because Jay Crowder's basketball IQ is not low. It's not like, Dwight Powell or whatever. Right. He's just, or JaVale McGee. He's just not who he thinks he is, right? He knows how to play defense, and if he played his role and embraced it, he'd be awesome. We'd love him. He'd be like another Pat Connaughton. Problem is, he doesn't know he's Jay Crowder, just like Pat Beverly doesn't know he's Pat Beverly, just like Dylan Brooks doesn't know he's Dylan Brooks.
Right.
So, Dylan Brooks thinks he's Desmond Bane. That's the problem. My list is all-time number one on my list is Dellavedova, of course, because he ruined my one of my favorite teams. Yeah, and John Henson's up there. PJ Tucker's up there, although PJ did help us. I got to admit it.
Isaiah's not in your top three?
Well, he is in my top. Well, I mean, Lambeer and Isaiah, they're in my top three for other reasons. Isaiah was freaking ridiculously good. He's just, I just don't like him as a human being. I just don't like him as I just don't like. I'm not alone. It's not like I'm saying something.
I know.
I mean, his peers, his team everybody has said he's an ass, right? But Isaiah was great. I mean, he was unbelievable. He's top 5-point guard that ever lived. And so that's a little different than the Jay Crowder Dellavedova situation, right? So I don't know. Somebody the other day knows me so well. So they shot me a text with a picture of Dellavedova got in the game for the Kings, I think. And they sent me a picture saying the nightmare continues or something like that. And I was like, damn, he got in the game. The Kings must have been blowing somebody's ass out for him to get in. He's awful.
Dude, speaking of the Kings, have you seen – dude, Sabonis' numbers are not talked about enough, and it's kind of devastating. I think he had a triple-double the other night, didn't he?
Third-team All-NBA. He's going to make third-team All-NBA. He is. He's going to be a 13 All NBA center. It's going to make him a lot of money in the long run because Jokic and Embiid will be 1 and 2, and he's going to get third, which is going to leave Bam Adebayo out.
Unless they put him at power forward.
You can't. They don't let you do that. They've been asking about doing that, but I think the rules, if you read the rules, are pretty clear. Like you got to play a certain number of games, and Bam. I mean, Sabonis has a better chance of being a forward than Bam Adebayo does because at least Sabonis used to play next to Miles Turner. Adebayo has always been the big.
Right.
So, but yeah, we were Cam and I were talking about the other day. First team All NBA. Who do you have? We got 3 locks. 3 of them are locks. Tell me who you think the locks are. These guys are automatic, guaranteed. No one could ever argue. I would bet $100,000 they're first team All NBA. There's 3 right now.
Okay, one has to be Jokic.
Nope.
You have Embiid?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I do or don't. I'm saying he's not a lock.
He's not a lock on
he might. Team? He's the likely MVP, but he's not a lock for first team All NBA. I mean, what if Embiid finishes the season averaging 38 and 15, and the Sixers have a better record than the Nuggets?
I don't know, dude.
I'm just telling you, like there are people out there that might vote for Embiid. These other 3 guys are a lock. They are. There is not even an argument. First of all, it's the 2 forwards. You should get this.
I mean, I would think Luka, right?
Luka's a lock. No matter what, Luka's first team All NBA. He could get hurt tomorrow, not play the rest of the season. He's first team All NBA. He's a lock. The other 2
I may not agree with this one.
The other 2 are both the forwards. Giannis,
yeah.
And then Tatum.
I was going to say I might not agree with Tatum. I don't know.
Who would you put in front of him? Dude, you got to think about it. Next is Butler and Julius Randle. You're not putting those guys in front of Tatum.
No, you're not.
You can't do it. Their teams aren't as good. Their numbers aren't as good. He's better. Yeah, so it's Tatum, Giannis, and Doncic are locks. We think Jokic is going to be first team, and I would give him first team. But there are minds that could differ, whereas those other 3, that's done. The other 3 are finished. Lock them up. That's going to be first team, which means Pix was talking to me about this. Morant's going to end up missing too many games. He's not going to get first team All NBA. And I don't know how all those contracts work, but this could end up costing him a lot of money because don't you get access to a bigger ceiling on your max deal if you have made an All NBA team or something?
Yes, I think you're right about that. And is the Ben Simmons rule going to come into play with him, or he's not going to miss that many games? Didn't they? The Ben Simmons rule is like you have to play a certain amount of games to get your actual contract payment?
No, the Ben Simmons rule, I think that you're talking about was he got to be rookie of the year like 3 years after he was a rookie.
A contract stipulation. Like
I don't know.
They could pay you less if you didn't play the appropriate amount of games.
I don't know. I'll have to Google it. But Morant's going to end up playing around in somewhere in the 50s, so he's not going to get first team. Curry hasn't played enough. He's not first team. So I heard Bill Simmons and Russillo were talking about it. They think De'Aaron Fox might sneak in there and snatch that guard position.
How many games can you look that up? How many games has De'Aaron Fox played this season?
Dude, almost every damn one. He's probably going to end up playing like 75. Let's look it up.
I'm sorry to transition off Jordan.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's important. Like, people are sleeping on De'Aaron Fox, and I'm selling his cards with Protein right now, and they're doing fantastic. Yeah. Like, I had great timing on that. Terrible on LeBron. Great. I mean, look at his freaking numbers.
Dude, 25 games already?
4.3, 6.3, 50% field goals, 21.7 PER. I mean, and they're second in the West.
How many games does he have left?
He's played 60, and their team has –
Could he play all – no, he couldn't play all 82, right? There's no way.
No, he's missed games. He's missed some recently even. I'm not saying he's playing all of them. He's played a lot, though. He's played 60 out of 67. So you figure he's going to play about 73 out of 82 probably. That's a lot in today's modern NBA, right? That's a lot.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. But you lose, the other option was Lillard, but his team's terrible. I shouldn't say terrible, but they're behind the Kings. And Lillard missed a lot of games at the beginning of the season. Lillard's played 55 games and clearly has better numbers. There's no question about that. And everything about Lillard is better. Right. Except his field goal percentage, but his team's a lot worse. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is the feel-good story. So De'Aaron Fox in the year where he made his first All-Star team, he was All-Star. He made the All-Star team, right? This was his first All-Star team. Yeah, he made this year's All-Star team. So
Yeah,
in the same year he made his first All-Star team, he's going to make an All-NBA team, but he might make first team All-NBA.
Right.
And then of course, Lillard's made six times All-NBA. He's an absolute stud. That's why I collect him, because off the court, he's fantastic. On the court, he's fantastic. He's no trouble. Everybody wants to play with him.
He's never pulled a gun on Instagram
everything
Live?
about Lillard is, dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He is. And he's the most recent interview on Old Man and the Three, JJ Redick's podcast. They have Lillard on. I still haven't got a chance to watch him.
Well, did you hear what he said?
No, what'd he say? I heard he talked about people being
soft. He's not a fan of ring culture. He said he's not a fan of ring culture.
Well, he doesn't have one, so of course he's not.
I know.
I mean, I don't blame,
and he's never going to change, right? I don't think he's ever going to leave Portland.
How can he? He's getting paid $60 million a year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Every year he gets less valuable. Going forward. I mean, this year is ridiculous. I mean, he's an incredible season. I collect the guy, so I'm his biggest fan. Right. Well, I'm not, because I'm fans with some guys that are really big fans, but I'm a huge Lillard fan. But it's going to be real hard to find a taker at $60 million. That's a lot of millions of dollars. Did
y'all's heart breaks the other night when y'all went to the game and he didn't
felt
play?
Terrible. Zach, I had those guys come in from my Lillard group. I had 4 guys come in, one from the Netherlands, one from New York, one from Seattle, one from Oregon. They all flew in to watch the Pelicans and the Blazers. I got us a suite, with some of my clients, but I let them, I snuck them in there. So I had all my real estate clients. And then I had those 4 guys in there, and they were front row of the suite, mezzanine thing, sitting down there. They were excited. They were decked out in their Lillard jerseys. It was great. None of them had met each other, and none of them had met me. So all of us had never met each other. And so that part was great. But right before the game, Lillard went from probable to out. He was probable. And so we were all thrilled, and he was out. And then he played the next night in Portland. So no Lillard. Tough, now to make it worse, there's also no Zion. There was also no Ingram. Right. And to make matters even worse for these guys, I'm not a huge Blazers fan, but the Blazers were down like 30 after the first quarter. So the game was over from the jump. Right. And we could see Trey Murphy's career night. Trey Murphy had like 38 or something stupid. Yeah, it was absolutely the worst possible outcome for these poor guys that came in to see Damian Lillard and the Blazers. It could not have been worse. It was the worst game of the season for the Blazers and Blazers fans, and that was the game they chose. Now, if you want to take it a step further, one of the guys flew in from Amsterdam, from the freaking Netherlands. Bart, shout out to Bart, one of the greatest Lillard collectors in the world, and knows his stuff. And I got to meet him, Sunday. He flew in from Amsterdam. He watched the OKC game versus the Pelicans. No SGA, no Ingram, no Zion. Then watched our game that we just talked about. No Lillard, no Ingram, no Zion. He was staying in town and didn't fly out till Wednesday because he was going to watch the Lakers versus the Pelicans. No LeBron. So those are the 3 games, right? Man. Now you tell me this game management, rest, this, that, whatever. Now I know Zion's got a real injury, but Brandon Ingram, I mean, dude, how many games? These guys, he single-handedly sunk my fantasy team, man.
Are you moving BI or Zion if you're David Griffin?
No.
No?
No.
I've heard talks about Zion because he's just.
I don't think you get full value for him. I think you'd be moving him under his value. I mean, I think if he had played the whole season and you move him, you get great value. He's all NBA guy. I don't think you can, man. How can you? Who's taking him?
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's true.
I don't think you'll get full value from him. I don't know. You're just hoping he's Embiid. Remembering how Embiid could not get on the damn court.
Right.
And everybody wrote him off. He was an absolute afterthought. And then now we're looking at him and like yesterday, Pix and I were talking like, I asked him an honest question. I was like, compare Embiid to Hakeem Olajuwon offensively. And he's like, I think Olajuwon was better. And I was like, I disagree. I disagree. I think Embiid's a better offensive center than Olajuwon. And we're talking about one of the 10 greatest players that ever lived. Right. It's like, I think Embiid's better. Now, defensively, Olajuwon was,
way better.
Probably the greatest defensive centers of all time. Top 3 for sure.
Top
Embiid
4,
can
top step 5. Out.
Huh?
Embiid can step out. That's
different. Now, look, Olajuwon could step out as well, but he wasn't stepping out to 3. And that's not really Olajuwon's fault because no one else did either. Even the perimeter players weren't. But like, it's a legitimate question. Like, Embiid's that good. And remember, for 2 or 3 years, we were like, Sixers missed. You know,
Right.
he's an injury problem. He's never going to play again. You know, and then
Do you
here
have
he
them
is.
making a run?
What's that?
Do you have the Sixers making a run in the
I'm very
playoffs?
concerned about the Sixers. Yeah, they're the best record in the NBA, other than the Kings. They're the second best record in the NBA, I think, since I forget when, like January 1 or something weird like that.
Dang.
Yeah, they're
Think
really
Harden can
good,
do it?
man. Look, the only thing you fall back on is Harden has a history of not being the dude, in the
Right.
playoffs.
But what if Maxey
But
turns into that dude?
I know if he does. I mean, look, here's the deal: how much better is Tyrese Maxey than your average third best player? You know what I
Right.
mean? Go to the Lakers.
Right.
Who's their third best player? I mean,
Yeah.
Tyrese
Yeah.
Maxey's a really freaking good player. I mean, they're a good team, man. There's no question. And Embiid's just that great X factor, man. He's just a big X factor.
Is he
You
stopping
got,
Giannis?
huh?
Is Embiid stopping Giannis?
Oh, Embiid can't guard Giannis. They would never guard Giannis with Embiid. Embiid wouldn't be in the game for 5 minutes. He'd be out of the game. He'd foul out. They're not going to guard Giannis with Embiid. They're going to put some goon on him.
You think Tobias Harris?
Huh?
Tobias Harris?
Well, Tobias Harris will guard him, but didn't they pick up your boy from Charlotte, McDaniels? I mean, he's the
I
Giannis
guess.
stopper, right?
Yeah.
He's the elite, up and coming elite 3-and-D guy, and so they'll try him.
Yeah.
They'll Harris can't guard his shadow, so they're that guarding Giannis is not going to happen.
Right. Right.
It's just
More
a
of a
matter of whether the
slowdown.
Bucks make their 3-pointers.
Are you going to be the play-in race is going to be crazy, right?
It's crazy right now. Yeah. Pix and I were looking at it. Look, I'm gonna pull it up right now and screen share real quick. Where am I? Look at this, Zach. I think. Okay, so in the West, let's assume the Kings are in. The Grizzlies are dropping like a rock. No, they won 6 out of 10. Okay, but after that, the Suns. Starting with the Suns, they're in 4th. They are 4.5 games from being in 13th. No, sorry, 12th, which is not even in the play-in.
Right. Oof.
And they got no Durant for the next 13 games. If the Suns go 4-9, they may not make the play-in. Think about that. That's serious, man.
Yeah, that's
really look at
serious.
that maneuverability from 9 to 13, and the Suns have lost 3 in a row. So tack that on as well.
Are you one of the
Blazers
people that's
lost
saying
4 in a row? The Blazers are right there, man, and then they lost 4 in a row, and so now they're kind of fading. So it looks like it's going to be a Pelicans deal here.
dude,
Pelicans, Jazz.
What if the Jazz get in?
I hope they do.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, Markkanen's had a good season.
I hope they do.
Is he making an All-NBA team?
Yeah. So he was the other option at first team forward.
Okay.
So it's the second team I think is going to come down to Randall, Butler, and Markkanen. And Markkanen's a real feel-good story.
Right.
I mean, the Heat, let's see, they're 33 and 36. The Heat are 37 and 33, and then the Knicks are overachieving, or achieving, I should say. So I'm probably going to give it to the guys, that have been there and done it and have better records. And so my guess is Markkanen's going to end up third team All-NBA. I think so. The funny thing is, like that second guard spot, that's why I brought that up, is impossible. I can't remember. I had to pull it up in my phone, but it was like Fox, Lillard, Jaylen Brown, SGA, Morant. Like we're trying to figure out one guard spot because Doncic just locked his, right? So you got one more first team All-NBA guard spot. Who the hell are they going to give it to? Everybody's got a reason not to give it to him. Morant missed too many games. Curry missed too many games. Fox never got it before. SGA, his team's not any good.
Is there a chance? Is there a chance Brunson makes third team?
There is a chance Brunson makes third team, but I don't think it's a good chance just because of the names I just named.
Right.
If he didn't make an all-star team, my guess is he's not going to make third team All-NBA. Now, that being said, I think he deserved to make the all-star team for sure. Maybe more so than Randall, to be honest with you, because they weren't 41 and 30 with Randall, and now they're 41 and 30 with Brunson. So I think he's more the difference maker, and he had the numbers to back it up. I thought he should have been an all-star personally. But it's hard to – there's a lot of guys. It's like you got to take somebody off too, so who knows. But no, I don't think Brunson can sneak that third team. And he's been hurt a lot lately. And I know because he's also sinking my fantasy team. I was in first, and now I'm in third. So Brunson, Ingram, I mean, go down the list. Middleton plays every other game. Giannis plays every other game. This is my fantasy team. All these guys are playing every other game. It's killing me, so I'm going to end up losing. Sucks.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, we better end this.
Yeah. That's it. Let's do it. That's episode number 9. Zach, anything else? Were we supposed to talk about anything else? That's it. Firm Foundation is nice and forms part of your foundation in that PWCC vault. You got a lot more than I thought in there. BGS 9.5 slabs. That looks really good. I like to see it. I like to see the progress. The Jordan market looks to be ticking back up 1+% over the last 30 days. Let's check back in a couple episodes on that index. Remind me, and we'll check back on that index. Okay. I said I was going to do a giveaway, and I forgot about it. I am going to do a giveaway and bribe people to listen to us. I think that's the way it goes in content creation. Apparently, I got to give people things to listen. I don't know. Or maybe you trick them into listening, and then they're like, "Oh, I actually like this," regardless of the giveaway, right. And then they stay. I don't know how it works, but we'll try it. I don't mind. I do appreciate everybody that's watched the channel, hit the subscribe button, and hits the like button. So I'm happy to give something away to the. I wish I could give something to everybody, but I can't. Well, I could, but I'm not. So I give one thing away, right?
Right.
So anyway, Zach, anything else?
No, that's going to be it.
Okay.
Next week.
We'll set up a time next week. I'm in Mobile this weekend. My wife is in Memphis this weekend, and then we got kids here scattered all over the place. I don't even know what's going on in Baton Rouge. Hopefully my kids hold down the fort and the house is there when we get back. So
right.
It's going to be a crazy weekend. Are you flying anytime soon?
Yeah, I am flying tomorrow, actually.
Oh, yeah, where to?
I got to go to Santa Monica, Palm Springs, and a place called Victorville, all in California.
Victorville.
Yeah.
Sounds suspicious. Cool. And when's the Mint? Not this weekend, but next?
It's the last weekend of March, first weekend of April. So I think, I think
okay.
You're right on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Well, that'll be fun. All right. Business. Oh, that's Mrs. Cajun Cardboard. I got to take it. Thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. And peace.
I'll let